Make no mistake, this is the biggest fight of my career. I'm walking into the lion's den. I'm doing something that no one else has ever done before. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix.
Jake Paul has finally responded to Anthony Joshua, and this time he's coming out full force. After weeks of insults, backlash, jokes, and fans claiming their December matchup is a complete mismatch, Jake has stepped forward with a statement that's now rippling across the entire boxing community.
But it sounds like AJ's going to fight Jake Paul. I mean, if he's true to his word, if he really wants the fight, I mean, he's all very well saying, what did he say? I'll knock it, you know, he's got a weak chin.
Jake Paul just spoke to Oscar there and said, Anthony Joshua has a weak chin, I will knock him out.
Well, look, if he's true to his word, the fight will happen.
Next.
But whenever I know, but I can't believe, you know, and it's great that Tyson Fury is saying that Jake Paul's going to win, and people, I mean, like, maybe I've just lost my mind. But if they truly want that fight, you know, I reached out to Nikisa earlier, we're going to have a chat next week. If they truly want the fight, we can make actually the fight that does the biggest numbers in the sport. Forget Canelo Crawford, that doesn't even touch the surface of, and I can't believe I'm saying it, of AJ against Jake Paul.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. That automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on, like you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous.
Jake says the moment has arrived. He's coming to shock the world, to break Anthony Joshua, and to prove that anyone doubting him is living in the past. He reminds everyone that every time people said he couldn't do something, he proved them wrong. They said he wouldn't beat Anderson Silva. He did. They said he wouldn't face real boxers. He has. They said he wouldn't risk his record. He keeps doing it. Now he's stepping in against one of the most dangerous punchers in heavyweight history, and he insists he isn't afraid. Jake believed Joshua is too stiff, too predictable, and stuck in a traditional style. He claims the new era of boxing belongs to fighters like him, unorthodox, creative, and willing to swing until something lands.
My thoughts on it is that Jake Paul's had a lot of accusations over the years for a guy who's had no amateur fights. What's he had, about 10 or 12 fights? I'm not sure what he's had. And, you know, you look at the opposition he's had and people saying, when's he going to fight somebody? He stepped up. He's stepping up to a two-time world champion, a genuine heavyweight, a proper heavyweight champion, and an active fighter. And this is a big moment for him, and you got to take your hat off to him for that. As regarding AJ, I'm sure AJ's wants a fight back after that, that unbelievable loss he had against Daniel Dubois. That's quite an emphatic loss. He wants to come back, get himself, dip his toe in the water. He's going to get paid a lot of money for this. This fight's going to generate a lot of money because for me, it's a fighter. Jake Paul's going to be a massive underdog against a big favourite, a big odds-on favourite. Can he do it or not? This is a car crash, and people will watch it because that's what people do at car crashes. That's what this is.
If you don't win this fight in 30 seconds, there's going to be two things thrown at him. One, you're no good. A lot of people are going to say, you can't afford Jake Paul. You're terrible. You're never any good. So forget he was two-time world champion of the world. Who's the fellow that's struggled with Jake Paul? And God forbid he gets beat. Imagine if he got beat, or he gets dropped, or the rest of his career count pretty much for nothing in most people's eyes. And the second thing is, if he does take him rounds, if he does hold him up, if he does play the game and get a few rounds in, and it's a bit of an exhibition style thing, he'll never be taken serious by most paying public ever again. So I just think it's a no-win situation for Anthony Joshua, apart from the 50 million quid, of course, which is not too bad.
Who the fuck is he fighting? Jay's good.
I'm not betting on this fight.
People are clowning Jake Paul, and analysts are calling this matchup completely crazy. Even legends like Mike Tyson and Joe Rogan have already weighed in, saying the fight is unbelievable and extremely risky. Jake stands around 6 feet 1 inch, while Anthony Joshua is 6 feet 6 inches, and a former heavyweight champion known for knockout power in both hands. On paper, this shouldn't even be competitive, but Jake says that's exactly why he agreed to it. He wants the danger, the pressure, and the moment where everyone doubts him, because that's the night he plans to make the world swallow every word they've said about him.
Jake Paul calling him out.
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a real 50-50 fight.
I've got a problem with this one because Anthony Joshua is a 2-time world champion. Jake Paul's a YouTuber and doesn't deserve the right to be in a ring with Anthony.
Well, don't buy the fight then.
It's dangerous. We saw what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. This is a fight.
I know, but what I'm
People
saying
are going in there, their health is at risk.
But the only reason
you
they're
put someone in there in a ring.
I know, Jay.
And you say the only reason we're doing it is for money. That don't sit right with me.
Fine, then don't buy it.
Is Jake Paul at risk, and isn't everything about money? And who cares?
Of course he is, but that's what bothers me, right? If Anthony Joshua was to do what he done to Ngannou to Jake Paul, that's like life-changing injuries, potentially fatal. There's got to be some sort of contract being signed here, like, look, pull your punches a little bit, mate. If it was real, it'd be dangerous. But the annoying thing is people are going to go on about this as if it is real. And for me, it can't be.
Jake Paul he doesn't have to get in the ring with Anthony Joshua for $50 million. He's got $50 million. So for him to do this, get on the biggest stage in the world, which is Netflix, and fight a 2 times heavyweight world champion, you've got to have a big, giant set of balls, right? Now you might think, well, look, Anthony Joshua's 36 years old. He's past it. No, mate. Alexander Usyk, who's the world heavyweight champion now, probably the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world at heavyweight, is 38 years old. If you look at history over time, a lot of heavyweights seem to prime as they get older. Now, a problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them, he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, but I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime, because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake
fans are arguing nonstop, because if Jake Paul somehow pulls off a win, it would go down as one of the biggest shocks in boxing history. The real question everyone keeps asking is, how could Jake possibly do it? What would his path to victory even look like? Realistically, it's incredibly narrow, but not completely impossible. He would need to survive the early rounds, keep moving, stay long on the outside, and force Anthony Joshua to burn energy. Jake would have a hope Joshua either gets sloppy or overly aggressive. His only real chance comes from timing, speed, and that looping right hand that has dropped so many of his past opponents. If he can drag the fight into the late rounds, there's a tiny window of opportunity. That's what Jake believes. That's what he's preparing for. And that's what he's putting everything on the line for. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua is getting blasted for even accepting the matchup. Critics are calling it embarrassing, calling it a circus, calling it a pure money move. But Jake is turning all that noise into motivation, insisting people keep doubting him because they still don't understand what he's really coming to prove.
Curated into a little dance around exhibition,
could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou did. Francis Ngannou was an MMA fighter that got blasted out by Anthony Joshua. A fitter, more focused Anthony Joshua than the version we've got now, possibly. But this, to me, is everything that's wrong with boxing. It's a money play, nothing wrong. I don't begrudge Anthony Joshua getting 50 million quid for an easy night's work. That's fantastic returns. Most people would take it. From the boxing world, Jake Paul is now a professional fighter. Whether we categorise him as a YouTuber or not, he's licensed to fight, which means that the governing body should be suggesting that this is not a fight that possibly they should be looking to sanction.
Yeah.
But they will, because the sanctioning fees will be enormous. Anthony Joshua will not lose his legacy like some people are suggesting, because no one will remember it in 2 or 3 years' time. If he embarrasses himself in there, they'll remember it. But if he goes in and knocks him out in 30 seconds flat, or turns it into a little bit more of a sort of Jake LaMotta, Raging Bull, holding him up for a few rounds and then knocking him out, then people will forgive it. He'll get a big bag of money, which most people in the world would take, and move on.
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Jake says he's building an empire, creating a legacy, and taking risks that nobody else in the sport would dare to take. This December, the world will see whether he's truly prepared to enter a real heavyweight battle against one of the most dangerous fighters of the past decade, or if this is the night his entire hype train finally crashes. Love him or hate him, everyone will be watching, because if Jake Paul even has a single successful moment against Anthony Joshua, the internet will explode. And if he actually wins, the entire landscape of boxing will change forever.